Before we get started, this episode was pre-recorded on January 13th. With that in mind, I did ask a few questions about recessions and what we're going to do if sales suddenly drop without knowing that COVID was around the corner. Take everything we say with a grain of salt because some things that they say that they were going to do or some things that I said that I were going to do may not be happening. From Rixie, this is Butter. I'm Nathan Rivas. The show about chefs and the impact food has had on their lives, their businesses, and the community. Today's conversation with Alex Chakalos and Lauren Hare from Spitony's Pizza in New Baltimore, Virginia. Running an established family business can be daunting. There is an established baseline of expectations that you're up against. On the other side of the coin, it is easy to get complacent and let quality dip, alienating your established customer base. Spitony's, fortunately, does not suffer from any of these issues. Guided by the careful and passionate hand of Alex Chakalos and his wonderful work and life partner, Lauren Hare, they have maintained and even elevated people's expectations at this decades-old institution. Alex's commitment and passion for his family business shows. So I decided to sit down with him and Lauren to talk about pizza, people, and the history of this business.
My name is Alex Chakalos. I work at Spitony's Pizza. That is my family's restaurant that we've been in business with for coming up on 45 years. Started by my grandfather back in '74. And I'm lucky enough to have my fiance tagged along with me. I've been with her since 2015. And she's helping us out these last few years. She started, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Right up on 2 years.
And yeah, I mean, it's just been a blessing. I mean, I really didn't know what I wanted to do growing up, going through high school and getting into college, really don't have any direction. Always had, Spitoni as a fallback on, and not that it's a fallback plan. I mean, it's a family business, and it's just kind of, become who I am. And I, I'm passionate about it, and I love being there, and I love having Lauren with me. So with that being said, my fiance Lauren is here with us too. So
yeah. So my name is Lauren Hare. We're getting married this year, but I've been working in restaurants and like food service and customer service, like retail, type of jobs for a while. I went to college for cello performance.
Really? Where'd you go to college at?
Shenandoah.
Okay.
Not for too long because I got really burned out on it really fast. Like when I was in Fauquier in the public school system, big fish in a little pond, thought that I would like go and just dominate. Not exactly what happened. Like really still tried. And I still am a professional cellist. I play in PSO. I teach at Drum and Strum in Warrenton. I played in Gold Top County Ramblers, the bluegrass band, for 3 years.
Okay.
Like still do it actively a bunch. Still playing quartets all over the place, but more on my terms. It's not as much like
I imagine
my
that
only thing.
Alleviates the pressure from that situation as well.
It does. It does. Absolutely. But now that I get to do something with Alex, because I love being around people too. Like I'm such a people person. I love to talk to people. And seeing how passionate he is about this being his family's business. And I mean, the recipes haven't changed in 45 years. The sauce hasn't changed. The dough hasn't changed. The ovens haven't changed. The dough machine hasn't changed.
Mhm.
The building hasn't changed. Like structurally, they like remodeled the walls, but like that's it.
it's been pretty consistent throughout the
Yeah.
years, and that's kind of been our success. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, we do a few things, but we do them really well, and it's been the same. I love it when people come, they come back. They might be visiting family over the holidays, and they might have moved away, and they come back and they get, even if it's just a meatball sub, they'll have their meal. They'll come up like, hey man, I used to work here back in the early 2000s, and it's been the same. I remember it just like it was yesterday. And when I hear that, that's kind of like a home run. So it's awesome when you get compliments like that. So
and you get generations and generations of that. 45 years.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Producing food is a long time.
And you have people that come in every day, people that come in twice a week, people that come in every Friday night, that when you're there often enough, like you get to know these people and they get to know you. Like it really is like a different feel.
Yeah.
Once you've been established for 3 generations.
You know them by their order, and then all of a sudden you become friends with them, and then you know them by their names and whatnot, and then they just become friends. So and that's what it's all about too. I think just creating relationships with your customer and making sure they have a good experience, and they keep coming back and back and back. So
takes it to the next level.
Yeah,
it's
cool. It's hard work, but it's worth it. So
because he's been out of that building for your whole life, and
I've grown up into it. I mean, I remember just being a kid, just running around in the back, making boxes just to get enough quarters to play the game machines in the corner. And then it's just been, it's awesome. I mean, I love doing the family business thing, and it's been awesome. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So what was your relationship with food growing up?
I mean, I've always been a food guy growing up, no matter what kind of food it could be, any kind of fare. I've always come back to kind of the Italian side, like, cheeses and sauces. And my favorite food growing up was always pizza. And it's kind of weird because, we make pizza for a living. But even if we go on vacation or if we go out of town, I'm always looking for a pizza spot just to try it. I mean, I just always... And people ask me, do you ever get tired of pizza? And my answer is no. I mean, I always love pizza. So.
Literally, people ask all the time, and he's like, no, I'm good.
No. and I'm glad you don't bat an eye, too, when we go out to eat somewhere and we want to try pizza. She's always, more than willing to try it out. It's not a, no, we work around pizza. We make pizza all the time.
No,
so
absolutely not.
It's,
man. Got to keep your head around it.
Yeah, exactly. So
all of a sudden you're adding Twizzlers to your sauce, and you're like, that's normal. That's normal, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that.
Yeah. It's been pretty traditional throughout the years. We haven't gotten too crazy with toppings or anything like that. It's just New York style pizza, hand tossed. We're not adding goat cheese to it or anything. It's just pretty basic, but we do it well. So
Now,
do you get sick of your own pizza?
No, I don't.
Really?
Well,
I don't. He doesn't, though. He doesn't. He's not kidding at all.
We offer slices throughout the day, so it's really easy for us just to grab a slice every time we're working, and it never gets old, especially when it's, you open at 11, you have that first fresh slice pie ready sitting on top, and it looks so good. I never get tired of it, so it's awesome. So
I'm definitely sick of my pizza.
Are you? Right now we're I hate to say it, we're on a keto diet, so it's kind of tough working around.
We're getting
pizza.
married this year,
so we're
you get ready for those wedding photos.
Yeah,
so we haven't gotten
the
any
only
pizza
reason why.
recently, but being around it has been kind of enticing. So
yeah, but being full time at Spitony's is sometimes torturous. These past couple weeks, I'm like, no, but it's fine.
But you have thousands of combinations you can make with pizza. You can do a standard cheese, you can do pepperoni, whatever. You can add all kinds of toppings to it to make it a different, taste or whatnot. So it doesn't really get old.
So what was your relationship like with food, Lauren?
So again, I've always loved food. My first, I grew up with horses too. So horses and cello was always my life, in high school, middle school, forever. And then my first real job, in the workforce, was at Molly's Irish Pub in Warrenton. And I just fell in love with it there because the staff that was working there at the time, we had really good cooks in the kitchen. We had really good servers, really good bartenders. For it being such a small place, the food we put out was actually fantastic. And I don't know, just really fell in love with it. Kind of got taught how to make a few things. My sister is a really good chef. My mom and dad are really good cooks. More definitely recreational side. Definitely not like him. But just always loved it. Always tutorial videos, things like that. Always wanted to take chef classes. But I think working in restaurants and working around people that are in restaurants too. One of my best friends is Tony Ruffo, who is front of house at Field and Main in Marshall. And Tony, I mean, Tony's always been like so into wine and so passionate about just food, especially, but wine mostly. But again, like just being around people that are so food oriented and genuinely care, because I feel like that's something new that's coming up, not just here, but like Marshall, Warrenton slowly. But food is becoming like such a more cultivated business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like with Culpeper too, you have the good restaurants like Flavor on Main and Fodi's and all of the Time restaurants, and that's kind of what Culpeper is getting known for. And I just think it's so cool. You know,
There's something about making a product with your hands and then giving it to somebody,
Yeah.
and then them just being genuinely happy about, oh yeah, everything was great. We
Yeah.
love coming here, and then them leaving, and it's just there's something about that that's just, I don't know. It's like a high. It's like, man, that was awesome. I love hearing that. That never gets old.
and so many of my best friends I've made like in food service, you know, like I just have met so many people that are cooks, that are servers, and I don't know. It's just, I love food. I love making food. Like we cook all the time at home. We try not to eat out as often, you know. It's just always changing. You can always customize it to what you like. Eyeballing stuff, not necessarily measuring. It's just, it's fun to do.
Yeah, it's fun playing with it. So
Yeah, absolutely. You grew up in the restaurant. Like, I'm guessing your role grew as you grew. So did you just kind of fade into it?
yeah, basically. I mean, I really wasn't steady help until maybe sophomore year in high school. I mean, you would help out, you know, here and there, but actually being scheduled, you know, with the staff probably didn't happen until I was in, you know, sophomore high school. Being on shift and then kind of slowly getting experience from there, and then coming into like a shift manager and whatnot. It kind of wasn't, I mean, my dad is the owner, and he's, you know, didn't really appoint me as a general manager or anything like that. Well, at the time when I was in high school, we had a general manager, and I guess he went off and do bigger and better things. But it kind of fell in my lap almost. We had a couple other guys there that were older than me that have been there for a while, and they would run shifts and whatnot. But everyone ultimately knew that I was, you know, kind of going to be the guy, and it kind of just, you know, fell from there. I really haven't. I'm kind of like not going through the motions, but not winging it, but just kind of doing it my own. And you know, it's just, you know, hoping that it stays successful. That's my only thing. It's just wanting to make sure that it, you know, it was successful for 40 years. I wanted to make sure it's successful for the next 40 and 50 years and whatnot. So yeah, it's like I said, it's been hard work, but it's so gratifying, you know, putting out product and then making sure people have an awesome experience, and then they keep coming back. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't any time where it was like a hard, like, okay, now I'm getting more responsibility as of now.
Every day.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean,
Still.
like I said, I really didn't know what I wanted to do growing up, going through college and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, like everything, you know, one door opens, another one, or one door closes, another one opens, and then it kind of just dawned on me. I was like, you know what, maybe Spitony's is something that I should be here for. Like, this is what I need to do, because I have an older brother who's off being a chiropractor, and then a younger brother who's down in Charlottesville living with his wife, and he's doing his own thing. So it's like, you know what, I need to do this. There's my dad, and then if my dad stops doing it and I'm not going to do it, who's that third generation that's going to do it? So I kind of was just like, you know what, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. And it's something I've always been around. So it comes easy to me as far as like the work, as far as like putting out products and whatnot. You know, it's hard to motivate others to want to put out the same product that you do. It's
Definitely the people. I would say that's the hardest aspect, because he's so passionate and so driven and does the best job across the board.
Yeah. Well, nobody's going to care as much as you do.
Exactly.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
trying to understand that.
Yeah.
And
It's tough sometimes.
coming and communicating to your employees that,
Yeah.
like, I've had issues with my employees on occasion, and I'm like,
It's
you
my
get
face.
you get to sit and text your girlfriend for majority of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when somebody orders a pizza, make sure it's done, and at the end of the night, make sure it's clean.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 rules.
Literally.
Come on, guys. This is 2 rules.
Well, it's like every now
It's
and
not
again.
rocket science.
Like last week, a customer was like, "Oh, I can tell the difference in the food when you two are in the building," and we're both like,
That's not what we want to
"What
hear.
we want to hear, though." Like,
Well, I've gotten the opposite. Somebody said I make worse pizza than my employees.
No.
I was so offended.
I would have been like, "You don't know what you're talking about." I would've been
Close the
like-
doors.
Yeah, it's like, get out of here.
Consistency is massively important in the restaurant industry. For 40 plus years, Spitony's has strived for quality and consistency. This is something Alex and Lauren have continued, and something that they are deeply and emotionally committed to. It's interesting that you've taken over your family business, and that's interesting that that's something that's somewhat pervasive in the US right now, because I was watching a documentary on Singapore. So Singapore, I don't know if you're familiar, they have these food stalls, and there was actually a problem. So the government created these large, like indoor food malls for these food stalls to take over. They're called hawker stands. Now, the average age of somebody that owns a hawker stand is 55 to 75 years old, because the economy there is so good that nobody wants to take over their parents' food business. So over the next 10 to 15 years,
So,
cheap food is going to die in
gonna
Singapore,
be Gone.
Wow.
purely because what you're doing doesn't happen over there.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It is.
I mean, where mom and pop shops are, I guess, last of a dying breed. You have so many franchise restaurants and, just commercial places just popping up left and right. So it's really awesome that we have something that we have, a building that's been there for, it was a Stuckey's before it was a Spitony's, a little convenience store. And it's just awesome that we get to keep that going as far as we can. So
It's literally like an institution, like in Fauquier, like everybody knows what it looks like, has seen it. If you haven't been inside, you know where it is, you know what it is. Like,
it's awesome when you see people pull up and they pull their phone out and they take a photo of your sign. I don't know if they're Snapchatting it or if they're sending it to somebody, but seeing them do that, that's a good feeling because they're sharing that with other people. Like, hey, look where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And it's
They're taking ownership of that meal and that experience.
yeah,
which is,
and it's great.
awesome.
it
So
is cool.
so.
Very cool.
When did you get started there?
About coming up on 2 years ago.
Okay, so you and Alex have been together for a little while at that point.
Yeah, we're coming up on 4 years, I think, total together.
Yeah.
And I was transitioning out of one job, and he was like, "Well, I actually do need help with the restaurant. I know you have experience, and if you want to use this as a stepping stone into whatever else you're gonna find or do or whatever you want to do." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds great." And I came in, and like I said, like seeing him day to day in this job, I think that's a big difference with us too. Like the way that we're able to work together and be so good. Because we work full time, we live full time, we commute full time. Like we're always together, 24/7 almost. Unless I'm like teaching or doing my own thing, we're always together. And I respect what he does so much because he genuinely cares. He cares about his staff. He cares about his output. He cares about his business. He cares about his family. He cares about everything, like just top to bottom. And that's kind of what got me hooked on it. I was like, you see the people that come in and you get to talk to them face to face. And then my favorite thing is first-time customers. Getting to tell them, being like, this is what we're famous for. This is how many awards we've won. This is, if you're not going to go with pizza, this is the sub you should do. Like being able to genuinely just be like, just talking to people and seeing their reactions and then on their way out being like that, like just, yeah. It got me hooked. And he was like, no, I'd love for you to stay because that's kind of what happened with Tracy.
well, just creating a relationship with customers. But I was just happy that you wanted to
Yeah.
stick around and do what I do rather than go off and do your own thing.
Well, because that's what happened. Because Bill was obviously working in there, second generation from his grandfather. Bill's Alex's father, and then Spiro. But then Tracy went to business school and was, doing her own thing. And she came in and sort of, that just became her life too. So between Spitony's and also Northside, like Bill and Tracy just became this dynamic team in both restaurants. And it's really cool to see. And I love it so much. I really, really do.
Yeah, and I'm happy that she loves it. So
I do. Like, I genuinely
it
do.
makes my job easier too. So it's like I'm coming
Like,
to
don't
work
get me
with
wrong, it's not all like roses all the time. Sometimes I'm like, you need to be a little tougher. Like, you need to be not so nice all the time because he's so nice.
I get that too.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest downfall. It's
It
just
is.
being too
He's
nice.
so
Like,
nice. And it's my favorite thing about him. But sometimes at work, I'm like, no.
Clearly, you're passionate about what's going on, and I think that's what's keeping this business rolling. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing your father was pretty passionate about it as well.
Oh yeah,
Still is.
I mean, he
oh my gosh.
out of college, he went to go work for I think Kodak down in D.C. And then him and his dad, so my grandfather decided that they would come up and open and do their own thing, do their own restaurant. And he's been passionate ever since. And seeing him put in the work and put in the time, it just kind of motivates me. So, I mean, that's all it takes. When I see my dad, you know, busting his hump for his business, makes me want to do the same.
Yeah,
So,
and he still does, you know, like every single day he's in that restaurant. It might be for 20 minutes. He might come in for 3 hours. He might save us on a Friday night if we get out the door, or he might just, you know, go to the depot or do whatever he does, you know,
yeah.
like
You're keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on in your,
always.
your spaces.
Yeah.
And that's another key to longevity that you guys have really tapped into. Because, I mean, it's still a beloved institution, but I think that you guys have gone beyond just being a beloved institution, because you could just tread water and, you know, you have your group of locals that are continue to eat there.
Yeah.
But eventually that will die if you are not making a good product.
And
Yeah.
another thing too that I feel like is so different, because it's always been popular and it's always been there and nothing changes, but like with the growth of social media, it's gotten crazy. So Alex's sister-in-law, Sydney, does the social media for us, and she does a fantastic job. Our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Facebook is insane. And that, I think, creates a lot of traffic. We have a fan club that we send out emails. It's like, this month is like BOGO calzones. Sometimes we'll do like buy 1 2 topping pizza, get 1 2 topping half off, like every month like that. But like that increases foot traffic so much. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous how much our social media does for our business.
Yeah, well, as you know, everybody's
out
on
of
their phones nowadays.
control.
Because so
What acts as an anchor? Like, they see
It's
that on their
insane.
phone, they may scroll past it and not pay too much attention to it. But when they're driving by, they're like, oh, it's buy one, get one. We should stop.
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
And
And that's all it takes.
so it's like we have all of our regulars, and then you have the people that like will go out of their way. And like, so this last Friday, I mean, we were slammed. We have what, 14 tables? And then like 75% carry out. Like, if we approach 200 orders in a day, that's slammed for us from 11 to 10. If we approach 200 total orders in a day, that's huge. And we surpassed 200 orders by 8 o'clock this past Friday. And I was like, oh my God.
So you guys have both been part of this for this long. Do you have any plans to do anything with it? Or is it really kind of maintaining?
As far as to take it to the next level, or
Yeah, like what would you do? Or
I
do
mean,
you have ideas on that?
we always have people coming in asking or calling, do you guys deliver? And our answer is always no, because we're just dine in or carry out. For example, that last Friday night, if we were to accept delivery, like we would be just bananas
I
busy.
mean, we were at a 45 to 50 minute wait time on pizzas. That's how busy it
and
was.
people will
my
wait
God.
for
It
good
was
food.
nuts.
That's what I've always, thought. But if we just threw that in the mix, I just think we'd just be so busy. But if we were to jump into that, even if it's just Monday through Thursday, or only do it like a certain period of time throughout the day, I think that would really take us to the next level.
like
Because
Friday, Saturdays, completely no. But like,
at a specific
possibly.
time, like,
Yeah.
because
Lunch.
I really want people to get our food delivered to them. Like, if somebody could sit home and pull up their phone and pull up Grubhub or DoorDash and order food from us and not have to leave their couch and get our food delivered, that's what I would think would be taking it to the next level. So
Now, did you have to opt out of Grubhub or DoorDash? Because I know DoorDash automatically adds people.
they automatically added us.
so they automatically
Yes.
added us, and we just one day randomly got a DoorDash order, and we're like, what the hell is this?
And then they
Like,
kept on coming
did-
in,
did-
coming in,
how-
coming in.
How did that happen?
It was just, we don't know. With just like he said, we just
so they
got,
take take
orders.
the highest rated restaurants in the area, and
Yeah.
they put your menu on their
Well,
app.
how did you receive the order is what I'm asking.
by phone.
It's a third party. It's somebody calling it in. It's not the actual customer. So
It's a
if-
call center?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the call center.
Yes.
So they would place the order, and then a DoorDash driver would show up and pick
like
up the
Uber
food.
it. Yeah.
Now, it's crazy is that they offer you, what, a 2-month trial, and then afterwards they request 30% of the total order.
Well, so what's crazy is, again, we had no idea.
You
that
didn't opt in on this.
Nothing.
No.
Never. Not once until we
And
started
that's
getting orders.
kind of why we put our foot down too. I called, their customer service center. I was like, hey, what is going on? Like, I had
Literally.
people showing up who are DoorDash drivers picking up our food, and I didn't sign up. I didn't do anything. So what is going on
Like,
here?
I don't have any insurance. If something was ordered wrong because the menu's not correct, if like there's a few subs that come with the option cold or hot, veggies on it, veggies not on it, cheese not on it. Like,
Yeah, their order system is funky.
it's terrible. And I'm like, we obviously didn't approve the options on your ordering on this app. So if they're not ordering correctly and they hate it, that's going to reflect us, not reflect you. That's going to reflect the restaurant, not the ordering service.
Yeah.
If they don't like their food because they didn't know how to order it, like, that's going to be our fault in their eyes.
I'd like to take a minute to address DoorDash's predatory business model. When DoorDash moves into a town, they establish their drivers, and then they will add the highest rated restaurants without their knowledge. Lauren goes over the fact that they just get an order out of the blue from a call center. That increase in sales without the infrastructure to deal with it properly can be detrimental. DoorDash also takes up to 30% in sales, which is bullshit because that's typically the profit margin for most restaurants. In the case of Spitony's, Alex and Lauren wanted more time to think this through and do it properly.
My main concern was I want people to get the most out of our menu.
Yes, me
And
too.
if we don't have the power to customize it to how we want it presented to our customers on a DoorDash app or whatever app it might be, then we're not going to put it out there. So when I called and told them that, hey, let's put a hold on this for now, and then let's figure out what's going on before we can actually put our product out there for people can order it. That's kind of just where we're at. So yeah, I mean,
But
we're
they do, like he said, they do take after a while, because just had a meeting with Grubhub, and I think that if they find your restaurant or app through their app, like if they already know about you, but I don't know, it's weird. Like if they find you, if
DoorDash seems predatory.
well, so is Grubhub apparently. Like if they find your menu through the apps, like exclusively, like download the app and then go on the app first. But if they go on the north side of the Spitony's website and click the link, then it's different. But if they find your menu through the app, then we owe them like 30% of the sale.
it's different percentages.
That's like majority of your profit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like for food, especially for pizza. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Like,
so like she said, we just had a meeting with Grubhub, so we're kicking it around. We're trying to figure out to where we can get, delivery, with our business.
I think
and it's something that we don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
There's no contract, there's no nothing. It's
and
just
what we're
kinda,
thinking about too is you can edit the prices. So we might, if we're gonna go on Grubhub or DoorDash just for that, the prices might be higher, just to kind of counterbalance at 20-30% fees or whatever. But I feel like people, again, like if they're willing to wait 45 minutes, they'll pay an extra $3 to have it delivered to their house.
Yeah, definitely.
What you're about to hear now is our engineer, Mason Carlton, who actually worked at Spitony's. It was his first job. So he had a couple questions for Alex and Lauren.
I wanted to say, it's really interesting because there's like a handful of people that have ordered off of DoorDash. Like I would assume that happened a few months ago. That like had this one experience from Spitony's to get delivery, and it never happened again.
No, I know.
And I just think that's such an interesting, like,
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
like it's like
worked.
oh, we don't even do this. Like, and it was this
And it
one
happened.
time that you got Spitony's delivered. I think that's such an interesting.
Well, because at first it seemed too good to be true.
Yeah.
We were like, we don't have to pay anybody. We don't have any fees. Like somebody just calls and picks it up and takes it, and that's
No.
great. Like,
Then they hit you. Then they hit you with
yeah.
the bill.
And then we're just like, no.
Dude, fuck that.
I love like somebody's keeping a trophy of the box. Like, this is that one time
They brought this to me.
that they delivered.
I actually got Spitony's delivered this
Yeah.
one time.
I didn't go
and they
pick this
don't
box.
deliver.
They brought this box to
Now,
It's like one of 100. Like,
have you thought about doing it in house?
We haven't given too much thought into it just because we're such a
We'd have
small
to
operation.
expand.
Or that's
Yeah,
that's an insurance thing too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. There's so many liabilities and whatnot, and with DoorDash or somebody like Grubhub, like they take care
And
they
the way
handle
that
all
I
of that. So
also think about it too, and the way that I describe it to people is New Baltimore, you're 5 minutes from Haymarket, 10 minutes from Gainesville, you're 10 minutes from the Plains, you're in New Baltimore, so there's a bunch of housing developments here. You're less than 10 minutes from Vint Hill. Like you have so many little mini metropolises right around us. Like everybody would be shooting us orders.
So that's something that could definitely take
Yeah.
us to the next level, is if we incorporated delivery in some capacity, whether if it's were us offering it or if it's through
Just gently.
Grubhub or
and,
DoorDash.
Like very slowly.
Yeah.
Like because you don't want to get bogged down too quickly.
At the top of the show, we had mentioned some weird foreshadowing of COVID-19. My thought process was that most business owners should have a battle plan in case of a recession. So again, in light of recent events, please take what you're about to hear with a grain of salt. Now, do you guys have your like apocalypse plan should the recession ever show its ugly head? Which it will eventually someday, whether or not it's...
Not yet.
Not too much. Not...
You guys are an institution, not that you are recession-proof, but you
Exactly.
are not the first person to go. Like,
Yeah.
people stop going to Bloomington's, they don't stop buying pizza.
Exactly. Hopefully. That's hopefully the...
Yeah, because, I mean, we talk at Far Gone, like, everything, it gets bad enough, cut everything to half price, you go
And
home.
that's probably what we would do too. And I mean, like we've also shown such good faith, like in the past, like when with the government shut down and stuff like that. When that happened, we were offering free 2 slice deals, free lunch to government employees
Oh, wow.
when they came in. Just
If
until the
they
government
came in
got
and
back
showed
up.
a government ID, we would give them, however discounted price off of, or I think it was.
It was free.
It was free.
It was free for
slices or
government
whatnot.
employees.
Sorry, I'm the like
Mason's got
I'm
more
the
of a-
expert
Yeah.
for this one interview.
Right.
I was like, yeah, Nathan, I work. I work there, right? Like, so yeah, I think we both want to know, like, was there a moment where there was kind of a handoff, or is it in process right now? Like,
It's kind of in process.
Explain that to us.
Yeah, because like I said, when I was about 20, 22 years old, whatever, really didn't know which direction I wanted to go as far as like school or what I wanted to do. So I always knew I had Spitony. So I was like, all right, if I can't find anything, I can still like, work in my family's restaurant. And I looked at it that way, but knowing it was, it's something that I actually wanted to do. It's something I wanted to stick in the family. I wanted it to go, further than it is now. I don't want it to end. I don't want to go off and do my thing and have my brothers go off and do their thing, and then have my dad at the end of the day kind of not struggling, but like doing it all himself. And then if he throws in the towel, and that's it, there's no other Spitonis. So that kind of gave me motivation to want to, do this. But as far as like, giving me the reins or anything like that, I mean, I think we might have had a conversation in the car one day about, he asked me, well, like, what do you want to do? Like, I kind of have an idea what you want to do, him hinting at Spitonis. But he's like, I'll support you no matter what you want to do. Like, if you wanted to not do this or if you wanted to go do school. So it wasn't really a clear handoff. We're still kind of going through that right now, if you will. So, but it's been smooth. I mean, he knows that I'm the guy down there, and everything that I do with that business as far as ordering, hiring, scheduling, he knows that he can count on me. And then, it's just perfect. He's still a dad at the end of the day, so I want to make him proud and whatnot. So he, he's hard on me sometimes, but that's how you have to be. I need somebody like that. I need somebody to hold me accountable. So, yeah, it's been good so far.
How does it feel basically running in like a family heirloom?
It's been great. There really hasn't been any hiccups. I mean, like I said, it's hard work, but it's been great, and I love having Lauren there with me, because it's, without her there, it's just me and a bunch of guys who aren't with the family. And her and I are the ones that really log in the hours day in and day out at Spitony's. My dad helps out every once in a while. My mom helps out. But there's really no other family that helps out with the business. So having her there with me really, even if we leave at night and we drive home to Culpeper and, we talk about our day, it's something we can kick ideas off of one another and whatnot. But it's, I'm just thankful that she's there with me too, because it keeps me kind of sane too. Because without her, I'd just be by myself, I feel like. I mean, my dad is always around and always there to help out. But I'm not going to expect him to, hey, I need you to open. I need you to work, 11 to 5 or whatnot. I wouldn't expect for him to do that because he's put his time in and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would say, though, like in regards to what you just asked, like it definitely is like a form of pressure because you don't want, we are still in transition where Bill is still at the front, like Alex runs the day to day, but he's definitely the owner and makes all the big decisions. But when it turns over to Alex, you don't want a regular to be like, "Oh, well, this would never have happened." When Bill,
yeah,
you don't want that
that's like my worst fear too.
Exactly. So it is like kind of a high pressure situation where Alex knows every single in and out of that business, running it, payroll, scheduling, stuff like he just said. But that in the back of your mind is always like, what if somebody says this? What if somebody's like, "Oh, well, this wouldn't have happened if."
If somebody has a bad experience and they know that I'm running
it just switched,
and my dad's not there, it's like
they're gonna think that that's the common denominator in the equation.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be fluctuations in day-to-day service.
Always.
Because you're dealing with people. It's a
and we can't
business.
be there 24 hours a day as much as we would,
Yeah.
I have one last thing, and I think this will be great for the final. I don't know, and I want to know, where does the name come from?
Yes.
I think everybody
So good.
set the record straight.
It's
because
so good.
So what do you think it comes from? Like, what does it sound like?
Uncle Tony spits too much.
It's
Chill out,
if I had to
Spitony.
guess, like a realistic guess, it's got to be a name that like is in the family somehow, or it's the name or middle name of someone. That would be my best guess.
You were closer the first time.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, it's so
set the record straight.
It's
it's
so
being
good.
set right now. My grandfather's name is Spiro. Okay, it's Greek. And my dad's uncle, his name is Tony. So you put them both together and you come up with Spitonis. And they both started it back in 74. And we actually just had Tony over the last couple months ago.
From like October to December.
Yeah, they came over from Greece. If you check out our social media, you'll see photos of him and his wife, Kiki. They were over here helping us, but he was, him and my grandfather started it back then, and they built it to what it is today.
And Kiki worked in there every day too.
Yeah, Kiki was there, and it was super cool. I was really jazzed up about it when they came over because
it was amazing.
it's been so long since they've been to the U.S. So actually getting Tony of Spitony's in the building helping out 5 days a week for that month that they were here, like, was super cool coming to work every day.
And it was awesome too because we were just in Greece for 2 weeks in August, and the second week that we were there, we stayed with Tony and Kiki the entire second week. And over there, like, he's still active and still helps out because they run a couple of businesses over there. But him in Greece versus him when he was in his restaurant Child, for lack of a better word, like, he was so electrified and so happy and so.
He had a purpose.
So
when he was here
energetic,
helping us out, you could tell he wanted to stay busy. He wanted to do anything.
Yep.
Him at home was kind of just like, sitting on the couch, really not doing anything day to day. So it's really awesome to see him, help out and just visit.
You could just see that it immediately like energized him, and like it was so cool. And yeah, I wish they'd come back over all the time.
Which
it was
I think
fun.
they will be coming over this year sometime,
They're
hopefully for a
such
wedding.
good people.
But yeah, that's where you got the name Spitony's from, Spiro and Tony.
Alex grew into his role at the restaurant so naturally it must have felt automatic. Alex has put in the work and it shows. It would be very easy for someone to walk in and squeeze every penny out of the business and destroy it. That, thankfully, is not who Alex is. With Alex and Lauren behind the wheel and their passion for people and pizza, Spitony's will continue to be an institution for years to come. And with that, this concludes season 1 of Butter. I want to thank everybody for coming back each week and listening to what we put out. We will actually be back with a bonus episode in 2 weeks with Blue Giant from New Orleans. Until then, thanks for listening, and we can't wait to bring you more content.